Moving on, so you've heard of Mr and Mrs Iyer, Mr and Mrs Smith, and now it's time for real life to turn real. Welcome to the world of Mr and Mrs Idly. No, they are not some gun-trotting duo, but this seemingly strange couple is actually an idli vending retail operation started by Mr and Mrs Goenka. Natasha Parekh gets us the details.
Running a family business and trading in this volatile market can be dull and even risky. And so a year ago, Chennai-based Megha and Vikash Goenka decided to chew on something else than crunch hard numbers. This husband-wife duo started India's first idli vending kiosk, Mr and Mrs Idly. Why idlis, you would ask, considering that they are available in almost all places in India.
Idlis is something which is found in all the restaurants, hotels. Yeah, you're correct. But it is never found in the quick bites, you know. Because if you go to a restaurant, you have to spend around about half an hour to 45 minutes to order your food and then, you know, have your food and all that. Whereas, you know, pizzas, burgers, these are found at the move. So my husband wanted that, you know, at the move we could also serve South Indian. And this is the first time idlis are made on a kiosk module. This has never happened before in India or anywhere in the world.
So the product was old and only packaged and distributed in a rather novel manner. Trade pundits would call that a recipe for disaster. But the strategy paid off. What started with an initial capital of 2 lakh rupees is a 1.2 crore rupees business within 12 months. And mind you, idlis here are 10 to 40% cheaper than they are in other fast food joints.
We want to give people a cheap food for a cheap price. Hygienic food for less price. And if you go into a full-fledged restaurant, we need to actually hike up the prices, but we want to sell only for rupees 20. We want to give a plate for idli for 4 pieces. We want to be economical to people. This is not for mass classes, this is for masses food. We want to cater to the mass.
And the masses sure are enjoying it.
You go to a restaurants, probably you may not get 3 varieties of chutneys. Unless or else you go for a highly paid restaurants. Just for the money what I'm paying here, what I get is really good.
The different thing about this idli shop is in a mall like this place, all the maximum eatables we get is like pizzas, burgers or the mayonnaise, cheese, everything. Which is really pasta products and your calories and your health spoil a lot.
All that on the back of a strong franchising model. So just how lucrative is franchising?
You have sort of given a particular cost to your franchisee, and to that extent it insulates you from any surprises which are not good in nature. So in a way that you are insulated from any possible losses because you have passed on that risk to somebody else. At the same time you can expand your business very fast.
For small companies like Mr and Mrs Idly, franchising is a smart model because it means expanding with lesser capital. And for franchisees, it's the first step towards turning entrepreneurial.
A franchisee needn't be in the business of food. They can actually pick it up from the franchisor. They get the training, they get the equipment and the trained people. So it's easier on the person to start off anything new.
So far, over 30 Indian fast food chains have adopted this model to grow. And today, the Indian fast food industry is estimated to be about 20,000 crore rupees in size. 35% comes from the organized sector. The organized sector is growing at almost 25%, and that makes many believe that even small players like Mr and Mrs Idly have room to grow.
There may be room for growth, but it's all about the money, honey. Growth requires capital, which is very tough to come by, especially in these times. And Mr and Mrs Idly need about 10 crore rupees over the next 3 months to whip up the batter. In Mumbai, Natasha Parekh.